All right, lovers of mediocre at best YouTube content, welcome back to campaign. How is it 17 campaigns? How does YouTube even have room for all this? But anyways, we're in campaign 17. I want to say it's episode 7 because that's what I think it is. But the description will let you know when I'm likely wrong. In the East, it's going well. I mean, overall, it's going pretty well. As the Union, we tend to start behind the CSA in the morale support area, and now we're pretty much dead, maybe even slightly ahead, which at this earliest stage is a good thing. I think with the help of the devs, I have now solved the armies are perking too fast. It was a value I had not considered, so some of this stuff is going to be built up. I've taken what I think are like embedded reporters is like, I think it's kind of mediocre at best, but it's a good long-term one, particularly for those Union armies where I don't know that that they're going to be the most famous and the best. So we'll see as new armies are created on both sides whether the perk rate is lower. It should be noticeably lower, but that's a new value I'm going to have to keep an eye out for in the future. So things are going well enough in the East. I mean, we've just barely crossed into Northern Virginia, but at least we're able to hold here. And I don't know if they have an army. I don't know if those intelligence reports were right, that there was armies out, that there were CSA armies out here. I've got stuff in the past that makes me think it's not really so right. We had that happen once before in this campaign. It turned out there was no one there. So that was, well, that was that. On this side, I think the recent battles have been over here in Kentucky, and things are looking decent. All right, so we got Kelly up to yellow readiness, which means we can put him in scouting. Yeah, I don't think Abbott is particularly well known. So to head off, like skilled cartographers is good. Embedded reporters is fine, but it's not over. I don't think it's overpowered. It's not. Right, it's not the flying column. I think that one probably has to be earned if we're going to take it. But the readiness stuff at least allows the campaign to move a little bit faster, and the embedded reporter stuff is just, it seems like it's good for the long term. So we are approaching, I was going to say winter break. That I guess that's kind of what it is, where we get big movement. Oh. All right, so if Abbott is going to be, oh, well, good for them. We're going to move down, we're going to move Abbott to Louisville. And Day, I don't really know what to say about, I don't really want to touch Kelly. We captured the CSA supply depot here, and so if we can hold that, that's great. If we can not lose that, this one over here, that's ours, that would also be great. But I think if we have the readiness, we're going to have to... Whoa. We're going to have to find out if the CSA is actually over here. McClellan's pretty good. McDowell back here is being McDowell, and he's not pretty good. At least on the readiness score, he never is. Incidentally, I just finished Hess's book on... I think I was talking about this in a previous video. So it's not the one that's called Logistics, but it's the one about supplying armies, moving men in armies, something like that. But yeah, Logistics will be there afterwards. But I have another book on the bookshelf now, which is Tournament of Shadows, which is about the British-Russian Great Game in Central Asia in the 1800s. So I had to get through that, and then I'll go back to a Hess book. But the Tournament of Shadows is really good. Anyways, the book that Hess had on supply and strategy, I think that's it. It actually talks about Ormsby Mitchell, who I didn't really know anything about other than what the game kind of tells you. I know that he's in here. He frequently pops up early in the campaign. He, I'm not sure. I think he lives through the war, or at least he showed up late in the war. But I think he also showed up out west when Hess was talking about him. So that has nothing to do with anything except that I finished that Hess book, and we'll move on to others. But yeah, maybe it's McClellan who has to find out if they're actually here. And I kind of hope they're not. I hope that this is like good CSA deception. I've been slowly tweaking up the percentage that they're supposed to be recruiting to try to get them to recruit more. In the past, they were in a, so they were in a credit crisis. So I don't think that should affect their recruitment, but that signals to me that things are rough, and they may have sunk so far. I mean, if I'm in Triple C and they're in a credit crisis, then it might be bad enough that they can't even recruit. I've messed with the files to the point that you should usually be able to recruit, but actually if you go to, it's the last thing you should lose. The first thing you should lose is the ability to build buildings, then it's to buy weapons, and then it's to recruit. All right, so we are doing government funding 3. That is fine. And if they're stuck in the get us out of a credit crisis issue, that is perfectly fine with me. That means that they're falling behind on the main policy tree. And I will use every advantage I get. So Civ Order is one that is really good early on, as is Propaganda. Right before you take your casualty. I mean, Propaganda is just always going to be good, particularly since I've tried to make support. Support already matters, but I've really tried to maybe even emphasize it a bit more than it is still in the vanilla game. Recruitment offices is fine, but since the CSA is not catching up to me in recruitment, I don't feel the need to slam the accelerator on that. Trade warfare, I might do for role-playing reasons, but I don't feel strongly about it. But Civ Order is kind of a support buy, masquerading as other things. But that's pretty much what that one does well. And yeah, we'll see about that one. About what I do with it. Since we just loaded in, we have to kind of recheck all these boxes to get our armies to move correctly. Patterson is fine. That's good. I thought that maybe this was erroneous intelligence. I wish intelligence could be even less well known, and that you really had to get close and maintain a presence to know, and that cunning would make you even that much harder to find. But whatever, because if it did, I would invest more in building buildings and trying to gain intelligence on the campaign map. Because so much is kind of given to you for free, I don't usually feel like I need to invest in it. So I mean, this is as with most of my decisions, this is a questionable at best decision to split these armies here in the face of the enemy. But it's not quite November 1st. So my sense is if we can move with less of a penalty than normal, this is the time to do it. So I'm going to move Abbott and Kelly slightly closer to one another, but still within their respective supply ranges and how about ranges? And then I'm going to move Day to kind of the midpoint between them as a one-man show. But he should be able to call those two together should they need to meet. Now we have decision time. Bank Act will get us out of the Triple C credit rating, which should mean that we can buy weapons again, at least for a time. But what is the bottom line here? It's just that expenses are just outstripping everything else. I mean, I will go back and take a look at the Navy here and see if we can either make it more efficient or put more of it in harbor. But it's army upkeep. Because I'm playing with, I believe I've made the army upkeep slightly more expensive than it is in vanilla. And, I mean, it's something that hits both sides symmetrically, I think. Sometimes I'm worried that it gives a slight advantage to the Union, which when you're playing a CSA campaign, they need every advantage they can get. I'm not too sure. I would say, since we don't need recruitment, right, if I really needed recruitment bad, I would probably start in the breadbasket policy so that we could do more takes of farm mechanization early on. But I think with the CSA in a credit crisis already, we're going to go to Bank Act 1. And it's going to bring in more money. It's going to bring in more... it's going to bring in better credit rating. It is also going to be a giant support drop. But given that we're about tied, we can afford to lose... I don't know. It's a lot of support. But because it's a really good policy, I don't know if the description has actually been updated, but I think it's 5 or 7 support. Yeah, so it says supports in all states falls by -5. But 120 million a year from the time it finishes, that's a big help, and the improvement in the credit rating is absolutely nothing to sneeze at, all things considered. So We're doing that because we just finished funding 3. We're going to have a lot more money, and it's contributing to the deficit, but we're going to have a lot more money flowing into the economy, which means in the project tree here, we should get to... I've made improved credit rating more expensive because it really is, like, of these 3, it's the one that you want. Because it's the one that really matters, and I've made it very expensive. So both sides can take it a few times during campaign, but you can't just be spamming it over and over and over again without consequence. And I think the first corps can actually sneak all the way down here. See, Day is over there. Kelly, I think he'll end up... I mean, it's hard to say. I would really like to be down here in Bowling Green, right? But if they're at... if they were at Munfordville, I'd probably know, right? All right, so this is almost certainly a mistake, but I'm going to have Kelly get over here and try to park himself just before November 1st hits. I think Abbott is still going to be in supply from both Louisville and the Louisville Depot. And then hopefully Hannibal Day can call these 2 together to, should one be pressed, that the other can come in as reinforcements. And now this has answered the question of where the heck that CSA force went. I like that I didn't know it until now, and that I had to rely on this Mississippi River Squadron. We don't want to end up fighting multiple forts simultaneously. So I got to try to sneak up to the point where I'm just engaging one of these and not both of these. Inevitably, it will not work, but I'm still going to give it the old college try there. All right, that's things in the west. I didn't look at the... Sorry, that's the center. This is the actual west. And if they want to pivot between Springfield and, I don't know, Fredericton, this isn't even an IIP, it's just a crossroads. We'll say Rockbridge. That's fine, because Lyon is sitting with supply, with troops, they're training up, and we can deal with them as they show up. That's where we want to be. Let's speed this up a little bit, though, because we do want to end this campaign before the next actual real American Civil War breaks out. And, all right, there we go. All right, we don't see anybody, and we haven't lost any IIPs over here, so I think that this was just erroneous intelligence, and we're going to park McClellan. He might get back there in time. But we're going to try to park McClellan on the crossroads. Patterson's 2nd Corps, I'm surprised that their supply situation is that bad. But it's suggesting to me that what they need to do is to construct a... Well, it really shouldn't be then. I think it should probably come back inside the forts and maybe even be just north of Alexandria. Well, let's see what happens with Patterson. Yeah, let's see what happens with him, and we might even be able to cheat him down here a little bit in case they do make the crossing at Fredericksburg, and we want to move to intercept. That would give us that option there. Elsewhere. How big is Norfolk? Is that level 2 fort? And what do we have on hand? We have frigates, steam frigates, more frigates. Okay, this is... Yeah, they would need help if they're going to do anything. But we could put them as... Supply colliers is good. But we could put them as blockading squadron because the other stuff should perk up on its own. But I'm wondering if... I think in the last episode I had some gunboats that were about to be done? Yeah. And that is still the case. So these will get firepower. They're a little squishier than the monitors, but the monitors don't pack a punch. So it's okay to throw gunboats out. What do you... And you don't have any gunboats, so we're going to give you... Whoop. Some... I would think that that's more than enough firepower to take Norfolk. The question will be whether they can tank the damage. What about over here? So you got ironclad monitors, but you could probably use some gunboats. So we're going to give them, well, some gunboats. If we can find them. There we go. All right. So we'll give you one of those. What do you want? Yeah, you could use one as well. And I think between those two... I think we should have enough. If we don't, well, we'll do something different. But there is still the push in the Gulf, which I haven't paid too much attention to. I'm not going to send them in yet. We'll put them on blockade. See, now that would draw them in. So now we can engage them without the fort. Let's... Oh, well, so they won't come in if we're not blockading. I kind of want to see how this goes. All right, so we'll put ourselves... We'll actually put them in blockade and see if that draws out. That did not draw them out. Let's see about these guys. All right, so that did draw... That's interesting. Well, let's see how it goes. I guess you guys don't need to be on blockade, right? Be on offensive stance. Offensive stance. Yeah. Let's see what this looks like. Alright, so the initial squadron's not looking too hot. Are they not making use of the cotton clads that I gave them? They might not be. And I did this before my reinforcements actually showed up, so that was... Though I don't know why it only shows... Okay. Alright, now we got... Oh, but they also got the rest. And these are cotton clads, yeah. And they have a better commander. And 10 ships. So, is... I don't know how this is going to go. I mean, we're beating some of them back. Right? Craven is... Oh, that's Rowan. All right, so Rowan needs to come in and support Craven. Now we have 2 auto-resolves going on. But at least it's a different one, a different group coming in. Against a very... Yeah, it means the cotton-clad Rams we got to be concerned about. And I would think with this much iron... we should be winning. But the cotton-clad Rams are decent and a very good cost-effective counter to the ironclads. So we may win. We may win the battle. Although this orange readiness makes me think maybe we won't. But we might. But I don't know that we'll win it economically. That remains to be seen. These guys, since they're not doing anything else, might as well go into blockade. A little help perk up. Yeah, I mean, we can see that they are perking up, but it's somewhat slowly, so that's okay. Latest and greatest intelligence tells us they're doing print notes 1, so that's part of their credit crisis thing, and they took another take of propaganda, as they should have. This must be an artillery battery. And the army morale has come up. Alright, so you're not in scouting. You should be, because we're going to need... all the readiness we can get. Hopefully we don't get surprised. So going into... Alright. Patterson's getting his supply back. That's a good thing. Over here. 100% supply. That's good. 100% supply. That's good. Let's put you in scouting. Okay. Yeah. Hannibal Day does not need to be in scouting. Abbott might be able to go... You know, if those supply depots cover us to Bowling Green, I don't know about moving Kelly, but maybe moving, probably can get away with moving Abbott, and then we'll just move Day up there, and hopefully they can combine should they attack from Western Kentucky. All right, that looks okay to me. I don't know how this battle's been going on when you look at it for days. Yeah. So we got so beat up that we can't even kind of put that under blockade. It's probably worth it to go back to port. I don't know why these guys wouldn't do it. But they won't. Okay, well, they won't. That is what it is. Down here, what the heck was I doing? All right, I remember. We were thinking about going for Tampa because that would give us Fort Brooke. That vaguely comes to mind. All right, take you out of blockade, move you over here. I don't think navies take the movement penalty that land armies do. So we'll get those two set up, and we'll look for a victory there in the Gulf. Overall, our national morale is doing fine. How are they on recruiting? Yeah, it's too bad. I think after this video, I'm going to have to hop on over to that side and just recruit their numbers up if they can get out of the credit crisis. 32 guns, 20,000 men. Yep. All right. It's fine. Day can move up. I don't understand this. Well, if it's no, it's not being repaired because I haven't attacked it. But again, 99% of their subsidies are supposed to be and how can they afford to build this? Unless it started, maybe it started a long time ago, but I don't think so. But if they were in a credit crisis, they shouldn't have the funds to construct that. But I don't know, whatever. All right, and we never made contact with the forts, so we got to try to do that. I still don't understand the AI's preoccupation with this supply desert. Regardless of whether the Union and the CSA, they love the least supplied regions like Eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, and, well, I'll say the extreme southwest of Virginia. Because in the actual war, again, thank you, Earl Hess, southwest Virginia had quite a bit of, grew quite a bit of food. Right? The CSA's problem, in the east at least, is one of transport and of getting all the stuff that they have to their armies because of the inferior quality of the railroads relative to what the Union could produce. All right, you're good. McDowell, you got a while. I don't know if we try for the attack on the fort now or not. I was kind of hoping to get amphibious 1 going, but since I've actually since what I wanted to do, which is to slow down the normal perk rate, actually kind of worked, we can't just choose amphibious attack as our second. So, and yeah, we've devolved to CCC-. So I think for most intents and purposes, we are probably in a credit crisis. I don't know that we've gotten the message yet, but that is kind of what it is. And we are spending a lot on politics, a lot on economy, a lot on the, I think a fair amount on the military. But we don't have enough to choose anything important yet. Okay. Maybe we can speed things up so that we can move this campaign along as we are, I think we're in winter quarters now. So in vanilla, but also in my mod, I think I exaggerated it a bit. You really don't want to move too much in winter if you can avoid it. Notice how far east we are in Kentucky. I mean, if this is about the center, like we are well west in Kentucky. This is just no man's land. I mean, that's rough living out there. So we still haven't engaged the forts with this Mississippi River Squadron. Guess we got to get real close. All right, there we go. Hopefully we've only engaged 1. Oh no, the Penguin is down. Condition of the fort is actually pretty good. The Arrow, well, we're going to lose that, but that's fine. The CSS Arrow. It must have been the one I captured from the Lake Pontchartrain squadron up here. Only thing I can think of. And if we ever get our credit right back, we'll try to get that up, but no guarantees. We'll probably try to form an army of Missouri, but it might not be until mid to late 62. All right, I think that those are all monitors. I think. All right, I believe this squadron needs a bunch of repair. I don't know why the return to port thing did not work with them before. All right, it works now though. All right, we can put the John Hancock away. We could. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so it's a bunch of monitors, and we'll dump them in for their tankiness. Maybe. All right, so we'll let them get built up. Yeah, that 4th rate is just going to get dropped, as is the sloop of war, if it really comes to it. So we'll put the old Ironsides in here. Some monitors. If we have a gunboat, we'll throw another one in here. If not, that's okay. Yeah, I don't see one. Second-rate steamers are kind of the poor man's frigate. Like the really discount poor man's frigate. Move them closer. We'll get ready to attack. It's in all likelihood the Potomac flotilla is going to get dragged into that with us. So what? Don't bring in the Sabine. Don't bring in the Fulton. They actually can do something on blockade duty, but in the fight they're going to be pretty useless. Oops! I guess we went in too far. So that happens. Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah. All right, we'll run that through. Let's see how things are going in Florida, because that part of the campaign is still alive here in the winter. All right, we got both of these ready to go. Let's go in. And that's why when you're moving things that have those kind of delays, you should move it down to 1x speed, give all the move orders, and then do it. But I didn't do that, so maybe you can learn from my mistakes. Out here in the west, there is still this one fleet I know. Okay, and they're gonna try to do that. Whatever. We're role playing a bit, as you probably ought to in this game. But yeah, we really need that Bank Act to come through. Let's see. This is blockading squadron. We'll give him amphibious attack just because. Did we win this? I don't hear any more shooting. Confederacy is printing new notes, so that must be. Yeah. All right. So I'm guessing that they had the blockade up, but they did not have amphibious attack. Like the Atlantic Blockading Squadron 2, which is actually in good shape. It could join this. So we're going to move them in. Well, once that fort gets built up enough that it can be engaged, we'll begin attacking it. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Guess we'll stick everybody here in blockading stance if we can click on them, and we can't. So that's an error of modding in my case. I limited how closely I could come in and zoom in, because we were zoomed in too far before. But all right. McDowell, always in search of readiness. Got to zoom out till that storm passes. Otherwise, you go deaf. Did we take it? I can't tell. Yes, we did. We took it. So that's Fort Norfolk. Doesn't give us Norfolk, the city, the town, whatever you want to call it. All right, we got the Bank Act through. This is a great long-term play. But man, it saps our support. I'm going to go for it because our credit is so bad. I feel like we ought to. And bite the bullet here on support. I think we're going to get enough. Yes, we got propaganda to come through. So we're going to buy back some of the support that we've lost. And we'll lose even more after this. But you see, the CSA also has their issues. So, whoa, that was weird. And let's check out the recruitment. So they've gone up to 130,000 to our 163,000. So I don't know if those are just wintertime replacements that are showing up, or if some of the other mods that we did are starting to come through to fruition. I'm guessing this didn't go well. Nope, it did not. All right, we need amphibious attack. And I think we're going to need some additional ironclads. If that last one did not go well enough. And we may not have any additional ironclads, because I may have... Oh, no, we did. We did. Let's use them. And monitors are not the best at this, but they are something. They can tank some damage. Let's see how things went in Florida. Did we actually take... Yes, wait a minute. I think we knocked down the fort, but we did not have the amphibious attack perk on either of these, so we're going to have to fight it again. That's the nature of the thing. That's okay. All right, now we can get amphibious attack. And so hopefully next time around we're... What was that? Like a... Something came in and swallowed us up. They're going for funding too. And I guess that's because they're still in the credit crisis. So they're going to continue through... I think the way I've set them up is to... Oh, and they're done with it. All right. The way I set them up was to mostly go through the funding tree after that. All right. So we've done this. That's fine. Okay, what's this? Blockading squad. I want to give them amphibious attack just so we can take coastal forts. All right. What is this? Go up here. So we can kind of see what's going on. I'm guessing that, yeah, this is us buying more or borrowing more. Yeah, not anything too surprising there. Civ order. We have a civ order. Let's do it. Again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to take that one late in a campaign, but if you're not forced to recruit and go to recruitment offices, if you can afford a civ order, it's a long-term investment in keeping that support up. I don't know if I feel like taking any more perks right now. You're okay. You're okay. How is old McDowell doing? Ugh. He's doing. And over here we have Kelly. Abbott. And normally this would be the time to recruit armies and let them sit in camp and try to do the best they can, but after taking Bank Act 1 and only being at CCC+, I could recruit them, but I don't think I could equip them, except for the stuff that they already have. Right? And we have, like, on Cav we're good, but I'm trying to take less Cav this campaign. On artillery we're good, but I never take that much artillery anyways. And I only take, I'll say, the kind of light artillery. So 10-pound Parrots, 3-inch ordnance, and 12-pound Napoleons. You can blame Earl Hess for that because, you know, that seems like it was the better kind of field artillery. But actually, in terms of equipping them, yeah, we could definitely do another corps. And by definitely do another corps, I mean we could do another corps and it would mostly be well equipped. The cavalry and artillery peripherals would be equipped fine, and half of the infantry would, at least half of the infantry would be well equipped. Maybe that is something we want to think about if we're not going to do anything else. The question becomes where. We got pretty much 3 corps operating in the east, 2 in the center, and 1 in the west. Maybe we'll send Day back here, recruit a 3rd here, and leave it kind of on defensive duty in Louisville, and kind of trail these 2 as they push to Nashville in 1862. We'll see how that works. That to me seems more profitable than putting a 2nd out here. Where the pickings are slim and the rewards are not great, right? Would you rather have Arkansas or Tennessee? I'd rather take Tennessee and force them to come to me and just try to defeat them as they come in, rather than have to go out, build a bunch of supply depots in Arkansas, push, probably run out of readiness and supply, get defeated and have to come back for nothing. At least in Tennessee, they got to come to me, and I could fall back to Kentucky. There's a lot of ways that we can reinforce Kentucky in ways that are much more difficult in Arkansas and southern Missouri. All right, so once Day gets there, we'll look to do a new corps here under Day in Louisville. Yes, the Army of Indiana. We'll do the 3-division structure. Do 1 division of Iowa Cavalry. And then we will do 2 regular divisions, Illinois. And Kentucky. Why not? Solid roleplay reason there. What else do we have? Massachusetts. All right. Welcome. New York. Let's get some Zouaves here. There we go. That's what we're talking about. What else? What else? Pennsylvania. I guess this is kind of roleplay. We'll all right. I guess that'll be Pennsylvania. Wisconsin, sure. There you go. Maybe they're black hats, maybe they aren't. And let's give each... I like DC, and yeah, we go with Colorado too for artillery. Since there's not much they could ever give us, we'll just take those. Okay. We'll do that. We'll get their weapons ready. Over here, let's do 10-pounders and 12-pound Napoleons. And then we'll just see about who we can get what. Mississippis are great. We'll try to get one of those better guns, either the Mississippis or Plains rifles in each division. And then if we fill out the rest with Springfield rifle muskets, I am okay with that. I think we have enough to go around. All right, so we got 2 brigades left. Springfield rifle muskets is fine. All right, so that'll be a winter project there. Day can come back down here. Should we need to bring anybody together, he'll be the man to do it. And yeah, when the CSA eventually gets out of this credit crisis, we'll see what kind of condition they're in to recruit troops. But that's what we want to do. Let's keep it up at 20x here. What condition are we in? Send this back for repairs. Everybody else is good. All right. So then, let's go down here. How are you? Everybody's fine? Perfect. Send you down here as well. What? Alright, the frigate's got to go back and get repaired. That's okay, but everybody else is fine. Send you down here as well. Confederacy issues war bonds. Good for them. And everyone there is fine. I think maybe the Potomac flotilla. Well, yeah, I mean they're blockading a bunch here, and this is prime time. I think eventually what we're gonna do is we're gonna add wooden ships to the Potomac flotilla, and then move the ironclads out of Potomac flotilla to these, because these are the more combat oriented. Yeah, I mean if they want to come, yeah, they did not want to come up. But if they wanted to, they were more than welcome to try. All right. All right. We got to fight here. Very good. Let's move up with them. And them. Let's start moving the wooden ships to here. And you know, frigates are okay. Fourth-rate steamers are pretty efficient for their cost. Well, you're at 81% in repairing. That's okay. Maybe we'll dump you back into the pool. Yeah, we'll do the poor man's frigate out here. Maybe a brig. Get that monitor out there. All right, we're wheeling. And deal. Let's see how things ended up in Florida. Did we ever? No, we still didn't. All right, probably out here recovering. You guys have amphibious attack. All right, you go in, followed up by you, and as soon as they're able to respond, I guess they will. And let's go for this one. I think this is Moorhead Port. And they're sending out some relief. Maybe. We'll have a big old battle here. Savannah Squadron's coming for us. Oh, no. This must have been a readiness push. Alright, so we defeated those reinforcements. Alright, but over here it's going a little bit better. Well, we'll see how that one goes. It's true of a lot of this. We'll see how it goes. Oh. Oh. I don't know what happened there. I'm guessing we lost, or we won, but we didn't capture the fort, because it's not absolute, it's not 100% that you'll capture the fort. So that might be what was happening there, and that's okay. And, you know, further good news is that once we're through March, I think, then we're out of this. Battle of the Atlantic. Oh, they sent in another squadron to get us. How we doing? Yeah, I mean, we're holding on for now, but eventually they keep coming for us. They're going to beat that readiness back, and I'm in trouble. All right. No! Well, I said it would happen, and it has. All right, they're still bombarding. They look like they're in a much better position to take it. Oh, and we got it. So we did get the fort. I thought that would give us Moorhead Port, but it's not showing up. That's okay. But we are eventually going to reconstruct Fort Macon as our own. Okay, and now we have the port. So this is a better place to go. And here, let's give ourselves... Boop, 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 boop. Where is it? Oh, do I already have... I already have amphibious decks. So then we'll just go with blockading squadron. That's fine. We will return them to port, which is going to be right there. What do you got? You got an amphibious deck. Then we'll also... I mean, we could also give them supply colliers, but blockading squadron is fine. We're going to return them to port there just so they can get patched up. They apparently didn't realize they have ports much closer. It happens. Let's give them blockading squadron. And soon to get them blockading. And yeah, we're almost through winter in this one. And I think that that would be a fine place to end this episode. CSA is not that likely to press an attack. I don't really need to press an attack here. So we'll hang out. All right. You know, all things considered, we haven't paid a very heavy price yet. Though I think, yeah, Bank Act 2 is very close to being done. Again, this sets us up in a great long-term position, but support in the short term is going to be an issue. And it's going to make it look like we're further behind on the kind of leaderboard stats. Oh, what is wrong with their national morale? What is going on here? I wonder if it's private wealth. It is private wealth, which usually doesn't do anything in this game. It's usually kind of underpowered. I think it also tends to dissipate over time, like the problem, because I think private wealth tends to recover over time, right? These are the big hits that they took from Print Notes 1 and Print Notes 2. It's something that I exaggerated because it never felt like it mattered in the past. And I still think it's going to be one of those things that private wealth is going to generally recover. So I guess whatever that was, it was theirs. That just went through. But since we're going to end the episode here, you can pass this further Bank Act. Yeah. How did they do on recruitment? Down by 40,000. I like confiscation because we now, well, this one's tough. This is going to give them support back, but we have all those core in Virginia, and I think this year we're going to have a bunch in Tennessee. So I'll go with confiscation now. It's tough to know when to pull the trigger on that one. It doesn't make sense as the Union to do if you're not going to be in CSA territory. If you're going to be in CSA territory, it makes more sense to do. You're basically trading, money and debt for giving them +3 support each year. Which I think, depending, these armies are expensive, and so, I think it's a 15% reduction is a fairly big deal. And but you just got to be cognizant that now between March and, well, next March, they're going to get +3 support. But I think that national morale dropping so much is also going to drop their national support. We will see. I mean, that's what I was trying to get in this mod, was to make private wealth actually, you'd make one of the sides or both sides feel it. Because in the past it was like, well, you could do print notes and you could do war bonds, and public was like, meh, doesn't really matter. So it was kind of like a free, like a cash grab for nothing. And I was like, oh, +4 credit rating on war bonds is no joke, right? That's the same credit rating boost I think you get as the Union from 2 Bank Acts. And those come with monster support hits, as you can see right here. Right, we're down to 82 on support. So since I think private wealth recovers over time, I think it will give them some of that national morale back. But my mod is far from from perfectly balanced, but hopefully it's going to do better than vanilla. That's what we want here. All right, third core is there. 20x speed. You know, the rumors are don't go above it because yeah, we'll make bad decisions. I don't have to go above it. I thought we might have a propaganda waiting for us. We still can't do improved credit rating. Civ order is close. And I'm inclined to do it again. As long as we got that 50,000 manpower lead over the CSA. So they're still in a credit crisis. And they got a 2,100 man brigade. I don't know, maybe I'll have to just reduce the amount of upkeep for troops. In the vanilla game, it's 0.5 is the modifier. And I think I moved it up to maybe 0.6. So the armor's a little bit more expensive. But I guess maybe that's hurting the CSA more than the Union. There's other stuff we can do here. Let's see. I mean, whoa. All right, so that has to go back for repair. That has to go back for repair. That has to go back for repair. Again, all those will do fine on blockade duty. I think the rest of them can move out, and we can start blockading Wilmington. Let's see about them. All right, so we don't want to lose an ironclad gunboat, so we'll send them back, or that monitor for that matter. But we're going to send them out here as well, and we're going to draw on those ironclads that we put... Where are they here? Those ironclads that we took out of the group that's back in the Potomac. Where are you? All right, you're down here. So we'll take that monitor... We'll take that gunboat. We'll take that monitor, and yeah, that's fine if that's what we have. All right, move you down here to join them, and then we can continue on down the coast. We still haven't taken this? What? Lies. It's gotta be. Do we have to back off and then come in? All right. Wow, that Confiscation Act went through fast. Like, really fast. Revenue Act. We need the money. So we'll go for it. Alright, we'll let Fort Brooke try to gain inspirations, but I'd really like to take this and take Tampa Port. We can then push into the Gulf, or we can try to swing all the way around, and I think, where is that? It's up here. If we take that fort, clinch, we should get Fernandina as a port. And then I think Port Royal... Oh, it's Fort Walker and Port Royal would be the other one that we would take. And that pretty much allows us to repair and harass, blockade any part of the CSA Eastern Seaboard. What's left of it. Alright. They're all pretty well blockaded. What is that? Probably 40, 50%? Oh, like I said, 27%. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Alright. Let's get to April 1st here, and then we'll call it an episode. We're not going to move McDowell yet, because, again, moving them just a few days before would cause all sorts of readiness problems. Interesting. So they must be out of the credit crisis if they were able to go to conscription. Let's see what we learn here. Should have Civ Order, I think. Yeah, Civ Order is up. Let's take that. Maybe that's one we also need to raise the cost for. All right, April 1st is up. I don't know, it still says they're in a recruitment crisis, but they were able to take recruitment bounties. And they got 6,000 men recruited. So that brings them up to 140 to my 150. I mean, it's okay. Were those casualties? Oh, that was Navy tonnage. I thought it was casualties for a second. I was like, no. Well, actually, it pretty much is their casualties. Yeah, they've taken 2 to 1. All right. Well, that is going to do it for this episode. The good news is, out of winter, we're now ready to move. And I think it's going to be a fairly predictable push. A push probably to Richmond. And then a push to, I would say, Nashville. Right? Nashville is good. South and west of it are okay. You can't go that too far east and still be in supply. But I think that force is just about ready. Mississippi River Squadron should be in decent shape. Yeah, it is. And so we'll try once again to gather some of these forts on our side. These forts down here. And we'll just see how that goes. But I know this was a... I was going to say, I know this has been a slower episode. But, stick with me here. 32,000 against 18,000. But then they're going to get another 19,000. Well, I guess you know what the next episode is going to start with. So I know this one was on the light side, but it looks like the next side, or the next episode should be a good one. So hope to have you back for that.